That guy's not a real weapon.
You had Njoku to be a decoy.
I don't care if
At least with Hooper, he can catch a ball.
wait, who'd
Well,
you
at
say
least
was a decoy?
huh?
Who'd you say was the real decoy?
Oh no,
On a
I said
Joku?
yeah, I said he was a decoy. Hooper can at least catch a ball. Well, at least he could before he moved to Cleveland. So we'll see if he can still catch or not.
Hey, I have no. Here's the deal. I truly don't think we're gonna win this week. I'm counting this week as an L. But
So
if
am
we
I.
could,
Well, I just hope you guys cover the 8.5 point spread.
I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a close game. I think like so I didn't get to watch the whole game yesterday because I had a blinding migraine.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the dark for a lot of the day yesterday. But from what I saw, and it's actually on now in the living room. From what I saw, like I just think it's going to be sloppy the first couple of weeks because we didn't have any preseason.
Yeah, but I think that's why the Browns have the best chance of winning, playing them
Possibly.
early and everything. Unless you're Patty Mahomes and you're just that damn good.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying that realistically, if you on paper, right? Because obviously Cleveland's bound to fail me at some point somehow. It's what they do best. On paper, this team legitimately should be a guaranteed playoff team. They have by far the best running back duo in the game. They have one of the top 2 or 3 best guys at running back in Chubbs. Stefanski's offense is supposed to, from what everyone tells me, is supposed to be exactly what I wanted last year, which is just run like a mother, like just run those sons of bitches. And, and then give guys like Landry, who I think is going to have a huge year, and OBJ, which who knows what he's going to come up with. Give them opportunities to make big plays down the field. I don't know. And I think Baker's in shape. On paper, we should be way better than last year, but I think I say that every single year. And every single year, pretty much I'm proven wrong.
Yeah, but you got to think, and I understand, because, yes, on paper, but that was the same thing as last year. Last year, they were so much improved. They should have been so much better.
Bad coaching, though, like really, not even bad coaching, like almost like, and here's the deal. We know I loved Kitchens, so I hate hating on the guy. But it wasn't just bad coaching. It was irresponsible that he had that much power as bad as he did. Like he should have been fired early in the year.
Yes.
It was a catastrophe.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty bad. That's what happens because at least all the reports, were that was Baker's guy. Baker wanted him. Whether or not that was true or not, that's what, that was a big thing last year. So it's like, I don't know if they didn't fire him because of that or what, but yeah. Or they just maybe wanted to try to actually keep a coach.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I think I've talked to some guys at work about this. I think what they really, in a perfect world, what they should have done is just kept it how it was. Kept Greg Williams at head coach. Kept Kitchens at offensive coordinator, which I think was as much responsibility as he could handle. And just kept it that way for a year just to see what happens.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and they failed. And so now we're in the Stefanski era, a guy who I did not want, who I thought was the second or third or fourth best option. But
and that was the other crazy thing, because that was supposedly, after he got hired, that's who majority of the people wanted last year.
Yeah.
And they didn't pick him.
Well, I didn't think he was the best pick last year either. But he's here. He's my coach. I'm supporting him.
Who was the other one? Do you remember? Because there was 3, wasn't there?
Well, there's the Niners defensive coordinator.
Well, that was this past season.
Oh, yeah, last year. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, no. Don't ask me about 2 years. Do you have a hard enough time, remembering what I did earlier today? I'm pretty sure Alzheimer's is setting in. And I'm forgetting shit left and right. So I don't know. Hopefully, with these lifestyle changes I've been forced to make. So we haven't spoke. I mean, we've spoke, right? We text. But it's been 6-7 weeks. 6 weeks, I think.
Since we've been on here.
I took my sabbatical, which was well needed. I will admit I didn't completely I didn't engage. I didn't post a single thing and I didn't engage with anybody, but I would still go on just to kind of occasionally see what was being said because I couldn't help myself. But I thought my key was I didn't want to engage and I didn't want to post anything. So it wasn't 100% elimination of social media, but it was, for me, it was huge and it was well needed and it helped a lot. But man, it's been crazy. Like, as you can see behind me, my walls are empty. Everything is cleared off. I got some boxes there. Kim got the papers today in Utah. So she'll sign her papers in front of the notary on Monday. I go and sign my papers on Tuesday, and we will be homeowners Tuesday afternoon. Hopefully we get the keys Wednesday or Thursday. So that's been going on, which figure that was 90 days ago almost. This whole thing started with trying to buy this house and all the drama that's gone back and forth with that. I'm glad it's over. You're getting a bathroom remodel, right?
Yes, but funny story.
Oh yeah,
we got a call yesterday from him, and something came up, and he was like, "Can I push it to next weekend?" And it's like, we already made all these plans for this weekend because
you really don't want to help me move, do you? Man, you're a dick. I said, you really don't want to help me move, do you?
No, I want to come out there. I've been wanting to come out there since you weren't talking. We weren't doing this. I wanted to come out there, and it's just like every weekend there's something, and I'm just like, but yeah. So now, instead of this weekend and next weekend, he's gonna try to do it next Saturday, Sunday, Monday, is what he's planning. So we got to see. And it's like Miranda, as soon as we pay, because he wanted half up front, because he came over
that's pretty
Tuesday.
Standard.
Yeah, and he came over Tuesday to go over what Miranda wanted and everything, write stuff down, blah, 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 all that stuff, and give him his money. Well, he does this on the side, and she asked on, like, the Howland thing on Facebook, if anyone had any recommendations. And a couple people suggested him, said he's really good, he's cheap, but he does a really good job. And they were saying, like, they had a couple issues with, like, the one person, he did something and had to repaint the room. And they had a couple issues with the paint, and they said it was no problem. That they told him, it's like, hey, whatever the problem was, he ended up coming out 2 more times and like touching it up and redoing it, and so they were happy with it and everything. So it's like, did that. Then Miranda, as soon as gave him the money, went over everything, he left, and it was like, all right, I'll see you this weekend. And Miranda's like, oh, we're gonna get shafted, and that's just the way she is. And I'm like, you got to give the guy a chance. It's like, you can't just act like that. And so she just kept saying, she's like, oh, I just have a bad feeling. Then, of course, Thursday, he texts her and tells her that. And so she texts me, tells me, and she's like, here we go. I was like, just give him a week, because he asked if it'd be okay if he pushed it back a week. I was like, he asked. He didn't just say, he couldn't come, blah, blah, blah. I was like, just let's give him a week, like he said, and we'll go from there. But she's all like paranoid that we just gave him a couple grand and he's not coming back.
So are you guys doing like a full remodel? What's the plan here?
Yes, they're tearing everything out. And they're going to redo the bathtub and the walls, the new toilet, sink, the whatever stuff, the mirror and medicine cabinet, all that stuff. It's all going to be, he's tearing it all the way down to the floor. So
that's exciting. I know I do this, right? Like I walk in, I think I've remodeled your house for you guys a couple times about what I would do in your kitchen, and it drives Kim nuts because I'm already making like plans for this house that we can't afford, and obviously I can't get her to understand, like, honey, I'm not going to do these tomorrow. I mean, if I could, I would, but like I already know, like we're doing like within the next 2 years, I'd like to do a whole kitchen remodel and add a shower to my main bathroom. Well, to like the master bath, which means I'm going to have to expand some things. And that's going to be like a hefty job, right? Because we're going to take out some walls. And you should see my wife having like just, I think she just has panic attacks anytime I start talking because she thinks I'm going to do shit like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which I really can't do anything because I can't even move myself out of my house really with my body falling apart on me.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I for you who don't know, I went home 2 weeks ago? Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Seems like forever ago now. That's the thing that sucks. Anytime I go home It's like it happened months ago and it was like a couple of weeks. But I go home and I have all these plans. Like I was going to surprise Kim, a little romantic, surprise. I love you. Can't wait. I'm so glad I'm here and snuggle with my puppy. That was like the number 1B thing. And so it was just bad. Like I was hurting before I left. I had like a pain in my side. But I always just assume everything's because I'm fat. That's just like my instant breakdown. Like I'm fat, so everything's just going to hurt. Right? Need to stop being fat. So I fly to St. Louis, which is the first leg of the trip. We're on the tarmac getting ready to take off for St. Louis to Salt Lake, which is a couple-hour flight. And I get like the worst Charlie horse. And I'm like, you should have seen me, Kevin. I look like I was having like a stroke. And the flight attendants, because they're not standing right now because of COVID, so they're not handing shit out. She looks at me, she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm just hurting really bad." And for some reason, she's like, "Is it your chest?" I get it, fat dude, probably having a heart attack. And like, I'm literally like, you could just see me twitching my leg 100 different ways trying to get the pain to go away.
Yeah.
Turns out that could have been a blood clot. And then it just went downhill from there. So the side pain I'd been having, I got to Utah Wednesday. By Friday morning, I couldn't move. And so I go to the ER, and this shit just went downhill from there for the weekend. Like, so all my plans were gone really quick.
Yeah.
Found out I had bladder infection, kidney stone. I was pretty much, if you haven't noticed, if you've been around me, you've noticed that I've been a little angry. Because I haven't been drinking soda for 2 weeks because Matt's soda days are done. Because I was basically told I could either stop drinking soda or I could go on dialysis. And if I have to go on dialysis and need a kidney transplant, I'm too fat to get one. I won't be approved for one. So pretty much Kim's already been through that once with her dad with the dialysis and all that. So I refuse to like intentionally do that to her again. So my soda days are gone, but that shit has been hard. And I think that might have been part of my migraine problem yesterday.
Yeah, as much as you used to drink.
Dude, I was drinking. I could easily drink if I went like out of control, I could drink 3 to 4 2 liters a day. But I was guaranteedly drinking at least 2 1 liters a day minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but like, I've been a water king, man. I'm drinking about a gallon of water a day right now. I think I've already lost like 15 or 18 pounds. But I mean, I have a long way to go. But it was scary. And then, so I get out of the hospital, and then all of a sudden I can't breathe. Monday, I can't breathe at all. Like, it was like I had those weight vest.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I had one of those on me, and I was also had one on my pants. And weighted down pants, and I couldn't breathe. So back to the hospital I go. Oh, you have too much water in your blood, which I don't even know what that means. Mm-hmm. But it's because I've been carrying too much like water in my legs and stuff. So, that can cause heart failure and kidney failure. So I'm fucking a train wreck right now. But I am on like a lot of different things. Like I said, no more soda. I'm gonna start hitting the diet more hard on Monday. I didn't want to like do the diet, and I could. Here's the thing that I didn't want to. I couldn't do like a strict new diet change and get off soda at the same time because I would have killed somebody. Someone would have died. There would have been a murder. So I said, okay, I'll focus on weaning off of soda, and I feel pretty good about it. I'm like 7 or 8 more days away from that 21-day goal of the whole habit changing thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I figure, okay, Monday, I'm good. Like, I think I'm over the soda hump. I'm over the worst of it anyways. So Monday, I'll start like, focusing on the diet, and hopefully over the next, 6-7 months, we'll see some major gains. But that was scary because usually when I go to the hospital, outside when I had my heart attack, obviously they gave me shit then. But usually it's like, oh, you're fat, but if you make some changes, you could live forever. That's usually what I hear. So I don't like take it seriously. Nope. This time it was like, your ass is about to like die if you don't make some serious changes. The next couple years could be the last.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, fuck. That shit was scary. Didn't help much with the depression, but
Yeah, I bet.
it kicked me in the ass, to be honest. Like, I'm not like hitting the, like, it's not like I'm like hitting the gym super hard or anything like that. I'm just like very aware of everything I put into my body right now and very focused. But I also still have to move. Like, I still have to, like, my brothers were going to come down this weekend, but thankfully, well, not thankfully, like, but unfortunately, like, the housing, dude, we've had so many fucking issues like getting this house thing done. It's been a complete and utter nightmare.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know that I ever want to buy a house in Ohio again. Our last house, I think we closed in like 30 days or less. And this has been almost 90 days by the time we get all the paperwork signed. It's been a train wreck after a train wreck.
Yeah.
But I can't, like, now I just can't move shit. Like, I'm not allowed, like, by doctor's orders. I'm not supposed to be carrying more than 20 pounds. And with the water and stuff, like, I'm not supposed to be exerting like a lot of extra energy, like, and you know what I'm saying, like exerting myself to making my
overdo it.
Yeah. But I still gotta get the fuck out of here by the 1st, so I'm not paying a mortgage and rent. So we'll figure it out. What's been going on with you these last 6 weeks? I mean, I know we've been kind of keeping up through text, but
not much. Just same as normal. Work and the kids and going.
Raina's messages pretty much made my days. I love those things. Not, I'm sorry, thinking wrong person. Not Raina, Winnie. Her little messages always make me smile. Yeah. Those things are hilarious.
Oh, what the heck was the one she sent you? It was funny. The yogurt one was cracking me up because I told her to send it to you, and she just started like rambling
about what kind of yogurt we make.
Well, yeah, because the thing that got it started was Miranda actually bought her Denon's yogurt or whatever.
Yeah.
And so she's sitting there eating it, and I was like, she's like, this is some good yogurt. And I'm like, well, what kind of yogurt are you eating? She's like, this is Matt's yogurt. Matt did a really good job. I like this yogurt. And I'm like, all right. And I was like, I knew you were going through your stuff. So I was like, well, why don't we send him a message and you could tell him? And she's like, no. And then I was like, well, maybe if you ask him for some yogurt. And she's like, okay. And it's like, she just like said something about good yogurt, and then she started rambling on. And I was like, yeah, this train's already left the track. So I was like, there ain't no getting it back.
I think it's hilarious when she sends those.
Yeah, it was. She cracks me up, but yeah, she just sent it to the table, and she's like, "He did a good job."
That's hilarious. No, I actually like work is like the one thing. Work's weird because some days it frustrates me, right? I think work frustrates us all, right? You can't imagine like you go to work every day and like, oh man, this is the greatest day ever. Woo!
Yeah, I had a war with them last week at work, the HR lady.
About what?
Well, my grandpa passed away.
Yeah, sorry about that, by the way.
Thanks. And so for grandparent, for whatever reason, you only get 1 day off. So I'm like, all right, I'll take it off for the funeral.
That's the first time I ever heard that.
Yeah.
Most places I've worked has been just like a parent.
Well, now I guess they've changed it. Where a parent, you get 5 days now. But it used to be 3. Like a parent and child were 3, and then we only got 1 day for like aunts and uncles and grandparents. So the grandparents thing I can never understand. But it's like I went through the same thing last year with my grandpa when he passed last year. So this year he passes, and I found out Wednesday when they were going to be able, like they got all the stuff situated for the funeral. So I'm assuming it's Friday because I told the HR lady early, I was like, my grandpa passed. I was like, they're having their meeting today. I'll find out this afternoon when everything is. So I can fill out my paperwork. And she's like, okay. And then it's like I find out it ended up being on Saturday because with all this COVID crap, they have to space it out. You can only have like one at a time, all this crap. So I'm like, okay. So it's like I fill out the paperwork, and last year, and even our handbook, it says for your bereavement days, you're allowed to use them day of death till day after funeral. So I'm like, all right, I'll just use it on Friday. So I fill it out, and as I'm handing it in, I see it says 1 day. And I'm like, and I was like, yeah, that's what it said, but it had parentheses by it. So I look at it real quick before I hand it to my boss, and it says day of funeral only. And I'm like, when the hell did that change? You know, because they got these new paperwork for us to fill out for vacation and crap.
Yeah.
So it's like he saw me stop and look at it, and it's like I can't take it and go and change it. You know, so I just gave it to him, and I just told him I was like, you know, my grandpa passed, blah blah blah. I was like, I'm taking off Friday, so here's the paperwork. And of course, he wasn't happy going into holiday weekend. A lot of people were off on Friday, but it's like whatever. So then I go to HR, and this is where I kind of screwed up. So I go to HR and I asked the lady, I was like, hey, I was like, I told her, I was like, it's Saturday. I was like, I turned that paper in, and I was like, but it says on there day of funeral only. I was like, but I don't work Saturday. I was like, that's not what it's been, you know. And she's like, well, if that's what the paperwork says, and we don't work Saturdays except for overtime, she's like, I can't give you paid for overtime. So she's like, so you just can't use a day. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. I was like, that ain't how this works. I was like, you know, I was like, at the time I couldn't remember for sure what the handbook said, but I'm like, I knew it was at least, I was like, I know I was told last year, I was like, I could use it the day before, of, or after. I knew that for sure. But I was like, I'm pretty positive it's longer. And she's like, well, I don't think it is. And she's like, that's what the paper says. She's like, let me call Kentucky. And I'm like, okay. So she calls down there. She's talking to the one lady, and she's like, well, I would just go by the paperwork. She's like, you don't want to make it look like you're making an exception for somebody and make it unfair. And I was like, yeah, that's not how it works. I was like, there's a lot of days that you're allowed to use it for. I was like, so you can't make it unfair and make it, you know, an exception for somebody. I was like, that's what the rule is. And it's like, well, the paperwork. And I was like, first off, I was like, this is not how our paperwork used to be. I was like, I don't know who we got this from. And I was like, no one's ever told us that anything's changed. So I was like, as far as I know, I haven't signed off on anything. So I'm going by this. I was like, I'm not going to be here Friday. And so we're going round and round, and I was like, I went through the same thing last year when my grandpa passed. And she looks at me, she's like, how many grandpas do you have? And I was like, well, I had two, like every other normal fucking person. And she's like, she could tell obviously that I was not happy. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And it's like, what makes you think that's like a smart thing to say? You know, I'm just like, you guys are fucking ignorant. And then I'm just like, and then so of course I threw out my card that I had to use last year was every time we have a big rally is what they call them when the Kentucky bigwigs come up and give us our plan update. And they're always like, what's the most important thing? Family. Family's number one. That's why we work. That's why we do this, so we can provide for our family, and our family's most important. And your family is our family. So I sat there and I was like, you guys always say family's number one. I was like, but I'm starting to look at that as like when you guys say safety is our number one priority. I was like, only certain things. So I was like, if you're on a certain list, then your family matters. If not, then your family doesn't matter. I was like, I see how this works. I was like, obviously I'm not on that list, and I'd like to know how to get on that list. And she just kind of looked at me. She's like, well, I'm going to email Stephanie, and I will let you know what she says when she gets back to me. And I was like, all right. I was like, I'm not coming in Friday. And she's like, well, you can use a vacation day. And then when we get this worked out, if she says it's okay, then we'll swap your bereavement day for your vacation day, give your vacation day back. I was like, yeah, I'm not filling out a vacation day. And she's like, why not? I was like, because as soon as I do that, I was like, you guys will definitely say no on the bereavement day, and I'll have to use a vacation day. So I was like, I'm going to leave that bereavement day in there, and you guys work with that. So she never said anything to me, and I got my bereavement pay. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah, but I was like, man, if I don't get bereavement pay, it's going to screw up this week's paycheck. I'll be a day short. And then I was like, next week's, because they won't give me holiday pay.
Yeah.
Because I'm working down Friday. So I was like, I'm ready for war. I was ready when I went in Tuesday.
This is like the problem with corporations and big companies, just companies in general. I feel like it's where we could do a lot better is just how we treat people. And like, I get it. Like, there's a job that needs done where like the company does shit to make money. I'm not stupid, but we could be way better in how we treat people and what we do for people. Like, if I owned a company, like, you wouldn't work on your birthday. But also, like, there's stupid holidays I wouldn't give, like Columbus Day. Not gonna happen.
Who gets Columbus Day off?
A lot of union jobs get those kind of days off.
Well, that's what you get for having a union. You get all every damn holiday off. I haven't had Columbus Day off since I was in school.
But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of holidays I wouldn't give off, but there's things I would do. Like, I think, like, if you have a kid, like, you should get paid maternity leave, man or woman, I don't care, because I do think like family is the most important thing. But and as a company, you could write that shit off. It's not like you're just handing money out. Like, you could write that off on the back end, and it's not going to hurt you. It's going to probably give you more loyal employees. But people don't want that anymore. I don't think companies really care about loyalty anymore. Companies don't, because everyone's so interchangeable to these companies that humanity has definitely left the building in the professional world. I did see one company is calling back its employees from working from home, which I think silly, because a lot of the stuff I've been seeing is a lot of people have actually been way more productive working from home than in office settings.
Yeah, but the bad thing is you got those cases that people that slack off and don't do what they're supposed to. So I think that's why a lot of places, once they feel safe or comfortable or whatever, are gonna start calling people back. Because I had my one fantasy draft Dave's league on Sunday, and the one guy that's in there, he's a teacher over in PA. Well, last year, when they ended everything and sent everybody home to do the Zoom classes, even the teachers were at home. Well, I guess a bunch of teachers got busted not being in on their like office hour time or whatever. They were outside mowing and whatever, going places and doing stuff. And so now they're doing at home learning. They're doing the Zoom, but all the teachers have to be in the building to do the classes, and they have to be in their classroom.
But isn't that still counterproductive if you really think it's still a danger zone? Like, I feel like you could weed those people out, or you could discipline those people, or have conversations with the people who aren't. It's like any other job, right? If I show up and I'm not doing my job, my boss is going to sit me down and have a communication with me about whatever. Hey, Matt, why didn't you do this? Or your team didn't meet this goal. What's the problem? Like, you just like, I just think like people who really work the system, like anywhere else, they're going to weed themselves out eventually. It might take longer than you'd like, right? Yeah. Think about like people at Kraft Made used to carry piss around on their leg so they wouldn't fail a drug test, or like they would run the attendants to like the line. Eventually, like their car is going to break down or something's going to happen. They're going to fail that piss. Like the system will get you eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. But like teachers, certain jobs, I mean, union jobs, yeah, that system seems to work for them pretty well.
Well, that's because, I can't have an opinion on this right now, but yeah, we'll just leave it. Yeah.
All right.
So let's talk some football. So I don't want to get into like the pregame shit because obviously we're on different ends of the spectrum, and I'm trying to be positive. It's 9/11. It was a shitty day, anyways, in our country's history. So I'm going to try to stay a little more positive. I'll try. I'll probably fail. But yesterday, we got back to football, right? It counted, first regular season game, which for me was very strange because no preseason, which is weird because that's who usually hypes you up for that first week.
Yeah.
And you didn't see a lot of like training camp stuff like we usually. It was just very different, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I thought the NFL did a good job overall. Like, I know, like, Kansas City is one of only 2 cities this week, I think, having fans.
Yeah, them and Jacksonville, I think.
Yeah. So, which I think is dumb. I think it should have been across the board one way or the other. But fine, whatever.
Well, it goes. I mean, the NFL really can't decide that. I think that's the big thing because it's up to the state.
Sure. So they had fans, but honestly, I think how they filmed it, like, it didn't feel different. No. Like, I honestly think they stole a lot from the XFL, which I want to talk about that in a minute because they got some new owners since we've last chatted.
Yeah.
But the XFL, they would like and even the AF last year, they focused on like the game. They didn't do a lot of fan shots, and I thought the NFL did a good job of that.
They kind of screwed themselves right at the beginning. Because the first thing they did was the only close up of fans they did was some lady without a mask screaming, And they're like, well, there's people in attendance are supposed to be wearing masks unless they're eating or drinking. She definitely wasn't doing either one of those. The guy beside her was like chugging a beer, and then like they never showed the crowd after that, like close up. They'd show kind of in a distance, show people here and there. But yeah, they never did a zoom in after that one.
Well, I mean, exactly. So what it was a perfect, but I thought overall, like I thought the game didn't feel different. I guess is what I was saying. I thought that it felt like just watching a regular game on Sunday. I didn't feel like, oh, it's some special coronavirus. Like when I watch a baseball game, feels very different. Obviously, you watch an NBA game, which I think the NBA did a very nice job with how they've set up the bubble. Overall, I think it actually looks kind of nice. They got the fans watching on the screens, something the WWE is actually utilizing now in the Thunderdome down in Orlando. But I think like the NBA has done a decent job, but like it's still, you could tell it just feels weird. It feels different. The NFL actually felt probably the more like business as usual sport that I've seen so far that's been back.
Yeah.
And the fucking are the Chiefs just can they be beat this year for the Super Bowl? You look at that guy I drafted in most of my fantasies, that running back. I can't even say his name, Ari or whatever. We'll just call him number 25.
Yeah.
138 yards, touchdown, great pick by me. One of my most genius moves in most of my leagues. And when I drafted him, I knew fucking who he was, but I figured it's the Chiefs. People are gonna get a lot of points.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs look pretty unstoppable again.
Yeah, they did. They looked really good.
I don't think they punted to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was something crazy because that's when they finally got to say that the punter they've had for like 15 years wasn't there no more.
Yeah, I heard that they scored 31 unanswered after Houston's touchdown. It's just that team is going to be. I would love to see. Obviously, I want to see the Buccaneers host the Super Bowl just because I want to see a home team host. But and this year, I think. Oh God, there's stuff we go in there too. But they just look like in the AFC. I know you got the team from Maryland, who everyone expects to be pretty good. Honestly, a lot of the AFC North. I'm not going to say Cleveland's going to make a run to the Super Bowl, but they should be in the playoffs. Pittsburgh, depending on what Big Ben does when he comes back, how healthy he is, how his arm is.
They're saying he's in the best shape he's been in since like his first couple of years in the league.
And I think
I watched they have their own YouTube channel, so I was watching the one day since there wasn't no preseason, and they were showing like camp, which is so weird watching them have a camp at Heinz Field because they brought everything there. So it's like one of the concourses is like loaded with all their gym stuff, so they could do their weights. It's just weird seeing it, but it is kind of cool how they use the entire stadium.
So is their YouTube thing like building the Browns type deal on YouTube?
I haven't watched it, but it's a lot of like their local news, KDKE. They do a bunch of stuff for the Steelers. They're recording and so maybe because I know a bunch of teams got it now. They do it that way now, so people could see what's going on. So it's like they show like the press conferences and interviews, and like I said, they were showing some of the practices. Like they wouldn't really show the practice, but they would show like the workouts and them talking or meetings, stuff like that. And they were talking about Ben the one day and they're talking about how like good a shape he is. Well, they were showing him after practice, he was running stairs or stadium, whatever the fuck you call it. And like one day he's down in the lower end of the bowl and he'd run up the stairs, he'd walk through the seats to the next stairs, run down the stairs. And he was doing that the whole bottom. And then like the next day I was watching, or a couple days later, I was watching a different video and he was on the top part of the bowl running up the stairs. And I'm just like, yeah, I did not ever want to do that when I was told to do that. I was like, I sure as hell would never do that just for the hell of it.
I think that I don't know. Yeah, he's a rapist allegedly, but I think that if his game's on, man, he hasn't taken a hit all year last year. No preseason, I think, is going to be a help. I mean, figure Juju's still there. Connors, How does he come back? Because I think he had a shit year last year. How does he bounce
He
back?
did, but he was hurt half the year. Well, not even that. He was hurt more than half the year. And that's the only problem that I don't like about Connor. Like, he's a heck of a runner when he's healthy, but he's hurt all the time because of the kind of running back he is.
But also, didn't he like beat cancer? So that didn't help.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after he did that, he still had a year in college, and he did really good his senior year in college. But it just seems like ever since he came to the pros, he always has some kind of injury, and he misses a bunch of games. So that's why they haven't gave him that fourth or fifth year option or whatever. They're waiting to see what happens because then we got like 20 running backs on the goddamn roster.
Well, and then you got like that defense led with TJ Watt is going to be really good again. The North is going to be good this year.
They should.
I still think the Bengals are going to suck, but if the Browns can like bring their level of play up to, I mean, really, if they win 2 or 3 more games, that's a tough division all the way around. Who's going to win it? You could definitely see 2 playoff teams coming out of there. Maryland, the team from Maryland, they're the team from Maryland. I mean, they've got a lot of similarities to the Steelers, right? They have a coach that's been there for a while. They've got some consistency up top, which we've year after year when we talk about Cleveland, how important that would be and how great it's been for Pittsburgh. Even though I think that they're due for a new head coach.
Who?
Pittsburgh.
We'll see. We'll see how this year goes. Because I mean, 2 years ago, I was definitely on board with it was time for Tomlin to go. Then after what he did last year with losing Ben and giving us Rudolph and Duck and almost making the playoffs, I'm like, got to give the guy some credit. So I was like, I'll give him another year. So
they brought Dobbs back, I heard.
Huh?
I heard they brought Dobbs back.
Yeah. I was never the biggest fan of him, but I definitely liked him better than Rudolph.
Well, that's kind of what the thing I read was basically saying the same thing, that he is just better than what they have to back up Ben in case of an emergency.
Yeah, he still knows the system, so
I don't know why they didn't go after Blake Bortles.
I don't know. I was all about that. Did he ever sign anywhere?
Yeah, he's in not New Orleans. Winston's in New Orleans. I want to maybe Las Vegas.
I don't know, because I know last year he was with the Rams. And I knew he only had a 1-year deal last year.
Or maybe he's not in the league. I just thought that he's a free agent right now, according to Wikipedia. But I thought he would be, because I think size-wise, I think there's a lot of similarities that, he's younger, so he could learn from a guy like Ben. And if you want to have a guy who's a 2 or 3 year bridge quarterback after Big Ben, what a perfect option that could have been. Like he's had years where he shined, so it's not like he doesn't have talent. I thought that would have been a great person who they could have got for a really inexpensive price to back up Ben.
Yeah, I liked him when he came out in the draft. Like, that's who I was hoping he was gonna fall so the Steelers could draft him to be the heir apparent, which didn't happen, obviously. But I'm just like, with him out there, I was like, I'd have definitely tried to get him before Dobbs, but it's just like Dobbs, like I said, you would think he's gonna still know the system because he was in it for a couple years. It really hasn't changed, so but I don't know.
But the North, I think overall is going to be interesting. The AFC,
I'm excited about Burrow. See how he does.
See, I don't think he's going to be that great this year. A rookie with no real offseason, no preseason games. I think he's going to struggle. I think we need to expect that. I'm not going to beat him up for it.
Yeah,
I think he's a bad year to be a rookie for anybody.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you. But I mean, you'll still be able to see how his throws are going or whatnot, because you got to expect his receivers aren't bad, but they got a bad offensive line. He's got a good running back, so he's got stuff around him, but it just depends if he has time to throw it or not.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about the new stadiums. You look at Las Vegas. The Raiders are finally officially in Las Vegas. SoFi Stadium opens up this week. They said Roger Goodell is going to be there for the opening of that stadium, as he was there yesterday for the Chiefs game. I think there is a lot to be excited about, honestly, for for there not being like a lot of preseason, I think just overall, I think this could be a really fun year. Everyone's looking down in Tampa with Brady and going and getting Fournette. I think that was a genius move. Tell me Jacksonville's not tanking it on purpose.
They gotta be. I mean, there's no other way to explain what's going on down there. And it's like, I understand the coach coming out and he's like, we're not tanking. We got to do this. And talking about, if they don't do good, it's his job. It's like, buddy, your job is already done because this year is not going to go good. And whether they get the first pick or not get the first pick, they're going to have a shitty year. That coach is gone. They're probably it's going to be a complete clean house down there. It's got to be, because there's already rumors going around about them trying to get Dabo Sweeney from Clemson. There's already talk about that, and
the quarterback. Like they want the combination there. But you look at Fournette last year, had 1,100 rushing yards, averaged 4 yards a carry, 500 receiving yards. He played 15 games out of the 6. Like he was a pretty solid back, all things considered.
Yeah.
And now then they cut him for no reason. You look at the guys they traded and gave, traded for almost nothing. Like they almost gave guys away.
Yeah. Well, the one guy got traded out of there. He's up in Minnesota now, defensive guy. And he took like a $6.5 million pay cut to get out of Jacksonville.
And then they're talking about trading our other good defensive guy to Cleveland. There's kind of been some rumors bouncing back and forth about that for Njoku. It's so obvious that they're tanking. It's scary. I almost wish teams would just admit it, like kind of like the Sixers did when they were doing their big rebuild. So, hey, listen, we're going to suck for a few years, but it's kind of part of our plan.
Yeah.
And you don't love it, right? But at least I know what you're doing. And I think that honestly, Cleveland basically kind of did that a couple years ago. You think about when they said, well, we're going to go with these young guys. And when they had, what's his face before Dorsey, the guy who got us all the cap room, whose name is completely.
Oh, I know you're talking about the wizard guy.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but yeah, I know
you're trying to play Moneyball.
But the thing with that is Cleveland is consistently bad. So doing that and coming out and saying it, it's like you're telling us what we already know. Jacksonville was in the AFC Championship game 3 years ago.
I know.
2 years ago, whatever it was. And all those guys were young.
Yeah.
They were still on rookie contracts. That's the biggest problem with Jacksonville. Like, it makes no sense. Like, you have that team, and then you automatically start self-imploding like a half a year later. And then it's just like, then you start clearing house. Now, if they would have just been sucking this entire time and started doing it, it'd be like, all right, we're used to it. This is what we come to expect. But it's like when you do that and then you finally get that team that you're sucking for and you make it to where almost, one game away. Truthfully, I think it was like one bad play away from going to your whole thing that you're building for. And then you're like, all right, we're going to start rebuilding now. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. No, it doesn't make any sense. Look at Fournette. He's only 25 years old. Like, it just, I don't know. None of it makes sense to me, man.
No. After this past year of 2020, like, anything's possible.
Yeah, this year is like, hell, you look at everything. Like, look at, for us who listen to Rogan, who, by the way, I took his, he's getting $190 million a month. That son of a bitch.
Wait, what?
Rogan. Mm-hmm. But he just moved to Austin.
Austin.
His new studio is awesome, but like same thing. Like 2020 has just been effed up for everybody. California's falling apart. You got the wildfires.
California's always been falling apart. Just the fires are getting crazier this year.
Now the fires are in Oregon, really bad. I know some people whose houses are at risk out there, so I hope they're doing okay.
I saw the craziest picture, and it was, you might have saw if you saw pictures of it, but it's the Golden Gate Bridge. And you could barely make it out because of all the smoke, but you could see the red flames on the hill behind it. Like, I was like, that's just so fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's been 2020. I can't wait for it to be over. 2020 has been shit, and it just keeps continuing to be shit. Like I said, Rogan moved to Austin because California's nuts. And there's just nothing good coming out of it. Like nothing good. Like
No.
the government acknowledged that we have alien ships.
But the crazy thing about that is they acknowledged it to try to get whatever. So people think, and by the next day, no one like really cared. It was just like the year's been so weird because it's just like you got a pandemic, you got Kobe Bryant's death, you got the Black Panther dying now. You had
Chadwick Boseman. Who I didn't know he had cancer.
Yeah, I know. That was nuts. Because I got a thing on my phone. I was like, oh, that's just someone doing something on Wikipedia and the news bought it. And then like the next day, it's like, oh no, it's real. But got that. You had murder hornets. We have a coin shortage.
I think that's bullshit, by the way.
Oh yeah, I agree. What else? There's just been it's just like one thing after another, and it's just like, yeah, nothing's making any sense. Oh, and then the alien thing comes out, and it's just like, by that time, everyone was just like, all right, whatever, aliens.
Yeah, everyone's like, what?
Godzilla's coming.
I don't feel like anyone's surprised at this point. They're like, yeah, we get it. It's 2020. We've got fucking aliens.
Now we're trying to make a vaccine for a virus to come out in
before the election.
6 months, whenever most vaccines take quite a few years to come out.
I was interested. Go ahead.
Well, it's funny because Miranda's like, she's the one day she was talking about, we were watching the news and they said something about the vaccine, and she's like, a lot of people aren't going to get that. I was like, I know. I was like, I'm not going to get it. And she's like, wait, why aren't you going to get it? I was like, I've seen way too many movies for this. I was like, this is how the zombie apocalypse starts. Fuck that. I was like, I'm not going to be one of the ones getting shot. I was like, I'll be one of the ones doing the shooting. I was like, I will wait a couple months after the vaccine and see what goes on. It was like, if people start eating brains, obviously I made a good choice.
Here's what I'm telling you. Too often in our life, TV and movies have preceded reality, right? I mean, you can go all the way back to Star Trek when they're like having phones on their watches, right? Or flip phones.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, like that shit came to reality. Now I think of like The Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
Now this vaccine is going to be the thing that like triggers that shit where we really have The Walking Dead. But yeah, like the fastest I think a vaccine's ever been made successfully was 18 months.
Yeah.
And now Trump is pushing like this before the election, which even if you get it before the election, which is, I mean, literally around the corner.
Yeah.
There's no way you're going to get it out to the people in time.
No, but I mean, if it's out and you got enough of it out for people and they're taking it, if you have it out enough time for people to actually take it and you can see like they don't turn into the zombie apocalypse, I mean, you're going to give a lot of people hope.
Sure, but how many people are like you and I are like, to me, this is like a software update for my phone. I don't want to be the first person to do that shit.
Yeah, but you got to think of how the news has been playing this for the last 6 months. There's enough people out there that are so afraid staying in their house, wearing masks while they drive, that as soon as they say there's a vaccine, there's gonna be a line. People are gonna be out there to get it because that's what we need to get society back to normal. It's a vaccine. If you watch the news, so yeah, it's gonna be ridiculous.
I'm kind of loving the new normal. I haven't been to a grocery store in months. I just found out that Kroger delivers. I've been having my shit delivered.
I can't go see high school football games. I don't like this.
So that is one thing. Like St. Mary's down here. I've wanted to go to a game, and then they're only letting in. I think I work one of the other managers at. They're only allowing. His son's a senior, and I think they're only like allowing two tickets per player.
Up here, it's 4 for seniors, 2 for everybody else, but it's only supposed to be family or close family friends.
Yeah, I think these are specifically for parents or like grandparents.
Yeah, that's what it is here. I mean, so I was like, I can't get tickets. And luckily, Champion did good on fundraising or something this year because they got a camera and they've been taping the games and showing it on their YouTube channel. So I still get to watch them, but it's just like I still would rather be there, obviously.
Yeah, St. Mary's is doing the same thing. They're I think they have something called Rider Pride or something on YouTube. You can watch the games there. But I just wanted, because I know when I moved here, you told me that this area has really good high school football. So I've kind of decided, like, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to take some of that in when football season comes around. And then the pandemic.
Yeah, this thing's all. Yeah, as soon as they told me, like, I was more worried they weren't gonna have high school football, and when they finally like grew some balls and decided to have football, I was excited, and I'm like, all right, now finish ruining my summer by telling me I can't go see it. And they're like, and you can't go see it, Kevin. And so they're like, we're gonna do, these are the rules, which at least we're not as bad as PA. Because like DeWine was pushing for it. He wanted high school football. He thought you can do it safely. PA, their governor, he's such a douchebag. He came out like a month ago and he was like, we could probably do it, but he's like, I highly recommend that we don't do it. He's like, I'm not going to make an order or whatever. He's like, but I highly recommend we don't do it, but I'm going to leave it just like the schools. I'm going to leave it up to the districts. And so the schools were all like, well, fuck it, we're playing. And the PA Athletic Association was like, well, we need to have meetings and figure this out. So they finally just a couple weeks ago came out and they're like, all right, we're going to have a season. And it's like, why'd you wait so long? So they just started their season tonight and they're doing the same thing. They're only playing 6 games. I don't know how their playoff system's going to work, but they're only doing 6. But their order, they're only allowed to have 250 people in attendance for outdoor events. And then, which a lot of parents are pissed off about. And then if this continues into like the winter sports, which it's going to, for like basketball games, they're only allowed to have 25 people in attendance. So it's like you can't even get the parents for both teams.
Yeah.
At 25 people. It's like that's stupid as hell. So there's like they have some bill going through where enough Republicans are in whatever positions in PA where they have a bill where it's supposed to expand the number. They didn't say exactly how many, but they're already saying like it's passed, it's sitting on the governor's desk, he has to sign it, and they're already saying that he's going to veto it, he's not going to sign it. So a lot of people in PA are pissed because PA is like Ohio for high school sports. Like that's a huge thing for everybody.
I think everything should be do it at your own risk.
Oh, I agree. Everything should be off. You know, if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask.
If you want to open your company, open it. If you want to go to work, like show up. Now you should not be forced to go into work, right? If you can work from home, right, and you're non-essential, I'm gonna use that quotient, non-essential, because but I think it should be optional, right? Because I think the employer shouldn't be able to force somebody to go to work. But if you want to open your business, if you want to go to work, you should be able to go to work. If you want to go to a football game, you should be allowed to do that. Understand though that you're taking that risk. You're personally accepting the league. Let's use football, right, as our example. If you decide to go, grocery shop, whatever. If you decide to go there, it's not the company or the entity's responsibility if you get sick. It's on you. But you get to make these personal decisions. I'm kind of more leaning that. Even though I don't know like you, like I'll never probably go to. I don't know if I'll ever go to a grocery store again. I don't know. Like I probably will never go to a movie theater again.
See, that's the big thing. I've been waiting for like a movie I want to go see. I'm ready to go to a movie. I've been ready to go to a movie. Like I miss going to the movie theater.
I used to I was like you, man. We're in the same boat. Like I used to love going to the movies by myself, like just going. I'll spend a day at a movie theater if I can. Like I used to love it, but now I'm like, fuck, it's so much easier just to do this shit at home.
It is.
Or go pick up my groceries, have them put them in the truck or have them delivered.
Yeah.
Like what is something you'll like that you've had to change that you'll keep doing? Is there anything like for me, like I said, the grocery store, like unless Kim makes me, I'll probably never go to the grocery store again. Unless there's not in our new home, unless there's not like a pickup service. But I don't see myself ever going into a grocery store again.
There's nothing really for me. I mean, the grocery store stuff, it's like if Miranda's done the Walmart pickup for a while. She was doing it before all this started. So like I would pick it up that way, or if she needed something extra, like I still run in if I need to. She really doesn't as much. At least Walmart. She goes to Target and the mall quite a bit. But But no, I mean, there's nothing because I've done outside of not being able to go to the movie theater and stuff like that. Once everything started opening back up to a point, it's like I haven't really went out to eat like we used to, but it's like we still get takeout and stuff. But that's the only thing outside of the movies. That's the only thing I really miss is just going in and sitting inside of someplace. Because I took Winnie. It was just right after they started opening stuff back up in Ohio, where you could go in and eat. And I took Winnie. We went out to eat because that was the thing. Like we were going out to eat probably like once a month. I'd take her. It'd just be me and her. We'd go out, whatever. And like she keeps bugging me about wanting to go to Olive Garden. And Miranda's still not really. She's not big on that idea. But me, I'm just like, sure, let's go.
Okay, I might go out to eat. That's the one thing I might do again. But the Walmart pickup's great, by the way, except because you could do everything, like fucking microwaves, whatever you need. But they have that fucking limit, which kills me. The $35 minimum. Because sometimes I just need like a box of cereal and some milk. Or like the other day I needed like just cucumbers. That's where like Kroger comes in handy because you could do like a $2 fucking order and just pick it up.
Yeah.
But either way, between those two things, I'm just done. Like I didn't like going to the store in the first place because like what I do is I buy a bunch of shit I don't need once I'm in there.
Same here, but I miss that.
Not me, like
my
I said,
bank account doesn't, but I do.
Sure, my bank account doesn't. Like, and you think about like where I'm trying to be health wise, like if I'm not like staring at fucking chocolate dipped Oreos, I'm not gonna buy them. I go to Walmart, huh?
Winnie loves those things.
They're fucking crack, dude. I didn't think I'd like them because I'm like a double stuffed Oreo guy.
Same here.
But man, I tried them, those white chocolate covered ones, and I was like, oh my god, they're so delicious. It's just not fair. But so I'm my grocery shopping days are done unless the wife makes me, because I can see where she probably sells it as like I need like more walking, which I do. That's one of the things the doctors told me to do is walk more to help get some of the water out of my system. They got me on water pills, which has me pissing every 30 seconds. But yeah, grocery shopping's out for me. I don't know that I'll ever go to the movies again. I think movie theaters, you're going to start seeing those sons of bitches closed left and right.
That's what I'm worried about. But the big thing was with this whole thing, I think drive-ins are making a huge comeback.
I might go to a drive-in.
I took Winnie because Winnie, that was the other thing me and Winnie always did. We went to saw movies when cartoons were out, and she's been bugging me. Like, we drove by the movie theater right after they opened, and she saw cars in the parking lot. She's like, is the movie theater open? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, were you going to tell me? And I was like, I thought I did. And she's like, let's go see a movie. And I was like, it doesn't work really like that there, sweetheart. I was like, we got to let mommy know. And she's like, call her. And I'm like, we're not going to a movie. I was like, there ain't nothing out right now. I told her, I was like, once a cartoon comes out and you want to see it, I was like, we'll go see it. But I was like, right now, there's nothing for you to go see.
We definitely need some new movies. I think they need to change their like tune and like release some of these newer movies. But I might go to a drive-in. By the way, Bert Kreischer going to be in Cleveland October 22nd. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I saw that. I forgot. For whatever reason, it won't let me tag you and shit.
I don't see why I didn't change anything on my Facebook page.
I don't know. Because I know I got mine set up where
I tag you all the time.
Yes, and that's the thing. Like, you tag me, and like I got a thing where I got to accept it, so it'll go on my screen. So certain things I don't, obviously, when there's.
I have that too. That I do have.
But yeah, like whenever I sit there, I'll be like share, and I'll go type in your name. Like it never comes up for me to click on it. But I just shared something with you the other day, and it never came up, so I don't know if it actually went through or not.
Let me see here. I have to maybe check my Facebook settings, because yeah, like. Nothing's changed. Kevin Tenney mentioned you in a comment 4 hours ago.
Now that I put you in the comment because it wouldn't come up on the share. So I was like, I'll just put your name in the comment.
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to check my settings when we get done. But yeah, no, like he's going to be, I saw that he's going to be there October. I was like, oh, I wonder what Kevin Tenney's doing October 22nd.
Yeah, I wanted to look at, it's a Thursday night. I know that much, but I wanted to look into tickets and see if there's anything scheduled or planned or any of that crap. Because I know we're getting close to Halloween, which obviously wouldn't affect it, but especially since Halloween's going to get canceled. But
They're trick or treating down here. There, I just got I saw a thing on Facebook. They're actually going to trick or treat down here. It's optional, which it always is. So I don't know why they had to make that a point.
Well,
not like
I
every
think
other year, you're like got to force to give some fucking candy out.
Well, I think a lot of people are waiting for DeWine to say you shouldn't have Halloween.
DeWine's a douchebag.
Well, here's the thing that cracks me up, boys, because we had cookout at my grandma's house Monday for Labor Day, and my aunt and Sam were talking about trick or treat, and they're like,
"Oh,
I can't wait
interesting
to see
me." You said Sam.
And so they started the whole I can't wait for trick or treat, and they better not do anything. I was like, well, I mean, I was like, you got to cancel it. And they're like, what? And I was like, well, think about it. All those people that were complaining that they didn't want their kids to go to school because of the virus, I was like, you can't sit there and complain that, but then you're okay with them walking neighbor to neighbor with old neighbors around you. And I was like, because of the virus. I was like, if you do that, you're a hypocrite. And I was like, and then you just sound like a freaking idiot. And they're both looking at me because they were both against going to school. And I'm like, you can't.
Oh, and Sam's pregnant, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, you can't sit there and complain.
Evil pregnant lady, man.
Oh, I get her mad all the time. But I told Chris, because I was telling Chris, I was like, she was lucky the other week. I was like, she posted a lot of stuff that I was about to like say comments, and Miranda's definitely told me that I was definitely not allowed to make any comments because she asked me what I was going to say. So I told her, and she's like, yeah, you are not allowed to say a single word on Facebook. And so I told Chris, I was like, you know what? I was like, I got in trouble because I was going to make a comment. And I was like, I told Miranda a long time ago with Facebook, I was like, I don't care what you post. I was like, you can post whatever you want. I was like, but you got to be prepared to take crap for anything you post. I was like, I don't want to hear you complain one single time about something you post if someone doesn't like it, especially if it's like an opinion thing. Because I was like, someone's going to give you their opinion because you're giving your opinion. And certain people can't handle stuff like that. And it drives me crazy because it's like, don't get mad at me. You're the one to put it out there. Not everyone's a sheep or whatever you want to say. I'll be nice. You know, so it's just like, don't post stuff like that and then be like, oh, well, why are you commenting on it? It's like, because obviously I think it's stupid.
Yeah, no, I think like if you post, like you said, I think if you post something that's like an opinion thing, then you need to be ready to get other people's opinions. God forbid. And I think that's one thing why was such a big reason for me to disengage, because nobody actually wants to have a conversation on these things. It's just like, oh, here's my opinion. And somehow, not only did I move to the most Republican place I've ever lived in my entire life, like I've never seen so many damn Trump signs. But like most of my friends, including like are, I would say, more like Republican, conservative, like Trumper people, not Trump people. I'll say, oh yes, I'm just gonna say that side. But like most of like you and I can have pretty like decent conversations, and if we might disagree, but we'll find some kind of like okay, whatever. But we can have a conversation. Most people don't want to have no conversations. They just want to bitch and moan about the other side and be like, oh, they're fucking idiots and all this guy's a fucking idiot. Well, we're all kind of fucking idiots, really, at the end of the day, because we allow a two-party system where only mostly like rich old people run the world. So I think we're all a bit moronic.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's like, and the thing is like, I look for, there are times where I just want to be a jerk because I'm like, that's just stupid. And it irritates me really bad. So I want to make a comment. But then there's other times where it's like, you're pushing like some kind of false narrative. And it's just like, because it's easy to say, because Trump says a lot of stupid stuff. Can't deny it. But I know that. So like when there's someone complaining about something he said, like I usually I'll watch it just to make sure before I make a comment. Because it's like, there for a while when there wasn't any sports, all I had to watch was news because I was trying to figure out politics. And I figured out that politics is worse to try to figure out than soccer. It all sucks and makes no goddamn sense in the end.
Try figuring out rugby, dude. I've been watching a lot of rugby lately. All right, that shit confuses me.
But and so like I was watching a lot of his press conferences and seeing the stupid stuff he'd say. But it's like he makes it easy for saying something stupid, but it's like, why do you gotta change it to make it sound even worse? It's like it already sounds bad to begin with, but it's like in the end, it's like you'll switch it to make it sound worse, but then it's just like, and then so many people believe it because they're just stupid and they can't. It takes you like 2 seconds to look it up on YouTube and watch it, you know. So it's like usually if you see a small little clip that's like 5 seconds of him saying something stupid, it's like, why don't you expand that to a minute before, see what leads up to it? Because it might make sense. But if you just take that one small part out, it sounds stupid as hell. Because that's happened quite a bit. And I ended up getting in an argument with her and her mom, which I didn't know was her mom. And
Who?
luckily,
What's her
my
face?
yeah, my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was her mom, but luckily before I called her a fucking idiot, I texted Chris and I was like, "Hey, quick question." And I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, I'll change what my next response is gonna be." And because it was during the whole what was it? Trying to think of something stupid that he did. Oh, the Lysol thing. It was that whole thing. And if you watch it, yes, it sounds horrible, but he never tells you to take it. You know, he's asking the doctor. And of course, the doctor's like, what the fuck is he just asking me? So it's like you can hear it. It's like you could tell by the doctor's response. Like he's like, I can't tell the president no. So of course he's like, yeah, we can look into it. But you know, he's asking him. And she posted this thing and she's like, he's telling you to do this. He's trying to kill you. And I was like, yeah, he didn't tell you to do that. And she's like, that's exactly what he said. And I'm like, no, that's not what he said. Well, that's when her mom joined in. And her mom's like, she put the clip up and she's like, you need to listen to this clip and not be small minded. And I was like, small minded? What the? And like, I told Miranda what she said, and Miranda's like, oh, she's like, there's no saving you this time, is there? I was like, nope. I was like, this is all go. So I did the right thing. I watched the video clip again, and she had the whole video clip. So you can clearly see him sitting there talking about it. And then he'll be like, hey, do you think that's something we could try? And it's like, yeah, we could look into it. And he's like, talking about the light. Then he's like, and then like Lysol just kills it right on the spot. He's like, maybe we can make that into a shot or something. And it's like, yeah, sure, we could look into that. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, I watched it. He never said, hey, you should take a shot of Lysol. So I sat there and I was like, hey, do you watch or read the stuff that you post? Because I was like, call me small minded. I was like, you might want to sit there and rewatch that before you make stupid comments. And and then because that was me making it nicer than you're a fucking idiot. And Miranda, because I even sat down and put it up for Miranda, and I was like, listen to this. I was like, does he say this? And she's like, no. And I was like, okay. I was like, now this is what she's saying. I was like, I am reading this right. So I went through the whole step process, and I was like, she is telling me that he is saying this, and she's like, yes. And I was like, what? All I need to know. So I was just like sitting there, and it's like, maybe if you'd actually listen. And it's just like, you know, because she got an argument with me about the whole, the recent one, the guy up in Wisconsin. I know I don't really want to get into it, but she got at me about that.
The guy got shot in the back.
Yeah, because there was
Jacob Blake.
Yeah, Jacob Blake. Because there was the story that he was wanted for raping a minor, which wasn't true, and that he was wanted for sexually assaulting his baby mama ex-girlfriend and beating her up and a couple other things. So she posted this thing, and I was being nice. I was just being an outside observer. And she posted a thing from Snopes, your fact checking thing. And she posted that, an article, and she said that how they just put that out there in the media, so they were trying to hope people wouldn't burn the city down. So me being me, I read the whole article, you know, because right at the beginning it sits there and it says that, you know, is he wanted for this? And it's like, no, that is not true. But then you read on and it tells you, it's like, well, he's not wanted for this, but he is wanted for, and it gives you the list of all this stuff, which it's a horrible thing about the sexual assault, but it was funny because it's bad saying it's funny. But she woke up because she went into detail on the thing, and it has the police report on the Snopes thing. Yeah. And it says that she wakes up and he's standing over her. He jams his fingers up her, pulls them out, smells them, and he's like, smells like you've been with other men. I was like, that's okay. Yeah. And so I sat there. So I read the whole thing, and then I'm like, all right, this will be easy. So I just sat there and I was like, what did I post? I was like, so you're telling me It's all made up. I was like, he's not wanted for rape or sexual assault or anything. And that's all I asked because I'm like, I'll know if she read it by a simple yes or no answer. And she's like, she finally responded, later on. It's like, no, he's not wanted for anything. And I was like, okay. So I was like, I got to do it now. So then I sat there and I was like, well, maybe since you posted it, you should have read farther than the first sentence. I was like, he's definitely wanted for sexual assault, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I'm just saying, maybe, if you're going to make an argument, read what your argument is that you're posting and make sure you're right before you post something that's not wrong. I mean, before you post something that's not right. I was like, that's what one of our biggest problems is nowadays, is you get this false narrative and everyone sticks with it instead of, because the whole thing is supposed to wait till you get the facts. No one wants that nowadays. It's just like you see a 2-second video clip or whatever, and then you run wild, and then whenever the real thing comes out, it's like, oh, they're just saying that. It's like, well, they kind of got it on paper and they got it on video, and there's actual evidence. It's just, but we don't live in a society that does that anymore.
Oh no, we're very quick to make judgments.
And it's like, I understand certain things. It's like, I understand. It makes sense that you're going to jump to whatever, judgment. But it's like, it's hard. But it's like, even if you do that, if all this stuff comes out, then you see it, it could be like, oh, well, maybe we went a little bit too far, But it's like, no, it's like no one backtracks on anything. It's like, once you're stuck in that thing, they're stuck in that thing. There's no, there's no change in anything.
Before we go, because I do got to go to the bathroom really bad. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I've got to go when I got to go. But I did want to see what your thoughts were on the whole Trump downplaying the coronavirus stuff from the book and the audio.
I haven't listened to the audio.
I have.
I have read.
The audio is pretty damning.
I've read all this stuff that's came out that's going to be in the book or whatever. So, I mean, what's different from the audio and then what's being said? Like, is it different or is it just?
I don't think so. Like the audio, like he clearly says, like he likes to downplay it. Yeah. I wonder if I could find it.
Well, I mean, if it's the same thing as what they're saying, like what's being written, I mean, I read all that stuff. If it's just you hearing them actually saying it, then I don't
think
need
that's
to hear
huge,
it.
right? Oh.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I mean that's what it is, but I think that's like the big thing because it's actually him. Like, I don't know. Like, I think that's scary. Like, there is the side where you can say he wants to keep people calm, right? But I think in his role as the president, like, you can't sit there and downplay something like that significant when he's sitting there saying on tape, like, oh, it's 5 times worse than the flu. It's deadly stuff. And then go, oh, but it's cool to have these rallies and we don't need to wear masks. Even though he's like, oh, we know it's passed through airborne. Like, I think that's scary. Like, here's the deal. I still don't think he's not getting reelected. I'm pretty steadfast on that fact. But I just don't think that, again, I just think he's a shitty leader. I just think it's more. Let's see if this is a, hold on.
Are you playing something? I can't hear anything.
Oh, you can't hear it?
No, that's why I had to ask because the way you're looking, I was like, I think you're listening to something.
Yeah, I wonder why you can't hear it.
I don't know. But here's my thing with that. Is it bad? Yes. But it's like his reasoning, it's like I can understand it to a point because
To a small point, I can understand.
Because, I mean, even with the way he was playing it, we were on a toilet paper shortage, and he was downplaying it. If he would have came out and gave you, like, the full everything, like, what the hell would have been going on? You know? So it's like, was it right? I don't think it was right. But it's like, I understand it. And here's the thing that gets me is you got Pelosi and Biden complaining about him downplaying it. It's like, first off, Pelosi, you were down in Chinatown telling everyone, come on down.
She wasn't the president.
Huh?
I think it's different when you're the president. I'm not, and this isn't me.
They all knew it. Well,
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you.
Pelosi. So that's the thing that gets me the worst thing. Yes. Was his worst? Yes.
Okay, that's fine. We could agree there.
Huh?
I think I know where you're going, and we could agree there. I'm not like downplaying what they said. I'm just saying, like, he's like the top guy. Right? Business wise, he's the fucking CEO. And I think like there is some honesty expected. Like, I think there's a way to be honest that we're in a serious situation and not like cause a panic. And I think if you're a good leader and you know how to get a message across, you can do that. But I think like
I agree.
You think about like when we're at Craftmate, like I appreciated like when they said like we're in some shit situations here business wise, or even like my last company, like when they would come out and say, hey, like we're in trouble, like this market's not working how we anticipated. I think you have to be able to do that, like come in and say, we're in a very scary situation. This is a very scary virus. I don't think anybody who downplayed it was right. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying you're the head guy. So the buck does stop with you. And that's like his own words that he said when Obama was president, like several times. Oh, when you're the president, the buck stops with you. It's your responsibility. But he doesn't actually want to take any of these responsibilities. I think that's the thing that drives me nuts about him. Is he like nothing's on his shoulders. Nothing.
Yes. Trying to think how to say.
You know I'm right. He doesn't take responsibility for shit.
No, I agree. I'm not. That ain't what I'm trying to like say. Like whatever, put a spin on. But I'm trying to think how to say this. You got to look at. First off, everybody knows he is not great at doing that kind of stuff. Plain and simple. Not the whole taking it on his shoulders, whatever. But him explaining or something. So him by trying to downplay it, you gotta think he downplayed it. Everyone that came out against him knew how bad it was, but they did stupid stuff like going down and going places and being like, hey, come on down here. So you do stuff like that. So it doesn't help. But he's got so many people against him. If he comes out and says how bad it is, then what's their thing gonna be? Because, you know, with him downplaying it, they were downplaying it even more than he was, trying to make him look bad. So if he comes out and he's like, this is how bad it is, you know they're going to ramp it up to make it even worse than it was.
Maybe, but
come out and flat out tell you all this stuff. You know, it's 5 times worse than the flu. Everything that we knew, which was very little at the time. But if he would have came out and said all that, they're going to amp it up even more. Like, he is screwed either way he goes because there's so many people that don't like him.
Here's the deal.
I mean, we've had because here's like with that, we've had 3.5 years of them trying to say that he had Russia collusion on the last election. You know, so there's different stories with that. They just helped him by putting whatever out there that they hacked the elections, this and that. So we've had 3.5 years of that. Now they're trying to push this whole mail-in ballot thing. And they don't, and with him saying that, you know, it's going to be a fraud, it's going to be hacked, blah, 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 all that. And they're like, oh, he's just upset, he's lying, this and that. So for 3.5 years, you're trying to tell me a different country hacked into secure servers, all this crap, change votes, whatever it was with that. But a thing that goes on the mail that says election, they're not going to be able to do anything with. Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. So it doesn't matter what he would have said, they're going to go the opposite. Whether he downplays it like he did, everybody downplayed it. And now they're all coming out and they're like, oh, well, I knew. Well, everyone's documented as saying stupid stuff about how it's just the flu. It wasn't just Republicans, it was Democrats too. You know, there's the travel ban, they come out, always racist, blah, 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 all this stuff, which he should have done sooner, but it was the right call. So he comes out, and like I said, and then there's toilet paper short, all kinds of paper, cleaning shortages, all the shortages. The people are going berserk over something he's downplaying. If he comes out and says Godzilla's coming, we're all fucked. The place is going to go crazier than it did whenever he came out and said it's going to be gone. It's not that bad.
Here's the problem, like, and this is like our whole political system since Obama got elected, right? When Obama was in office, the Republicans refused to like do anything to help him get anything done, and now it's the same thing. I think as president, you may be 100% right. They might have played it, however, but that's not your job to be concerned about how it goes off politically. Your job is, as my president, to give me like the straight story because you're getting the most. You should be getting the best information. And I think you, especially if you want people like all these people who, like, if you want people to wear masks, right? If you want people to take certain precautions and to understand why we're locking shit down when we should have done a real lockdown, come out and say, hey, this shit's like 5 times worse than the flu. This is how it spread. But no, like when you play it down, oh, it's going to be gone by April. Oh, like it's okay that I'm going to have these big rallies.
Hey, he didn't have those big rallies until this past.
He had 5 of them right after he said this shit was bad.
No, he didn't.
Oh yeah, he did. He had 5. Oh yeah, he did. He had 5 rallies from. Oh man, I wish I had it in front of me right now. He had from I think March 7th. He said it was like no big deal, even though he like had already told Woodward that this shit's dangerous. And then after that, within like 6 weeks, he had 5 rallies.
I don't think that's right because he was mad because he had to cancel the rallies because they started closing everything down the 13th is when states started shutting stuff down. He wasn't allowed to have rallies.
Hold on. Oh man, I wish I had it. I don't have time to look it up. There's a whole thing about it. On when this all popped off. But either way, like I still expect him to give me like to be the calm hand that gives me the bad news. Like not the guy who just plays it down and allows us to go. Because here's the thing, if it was that bad and we should have really shut down, then like it's a lot easier as a country for us to do that and understand why we have to do that and keep like and people like just to be like this sucks and do it instead of fighting it so hard than to go, oh, it's not a big deal. And then you got all these people pissed off. Then why are we shutting shit down? Like, I just think he needs to be like, he's the leader of the world. Here's the deal. At the end of the day, like, he's the president. I need him to be successful. But it's like he's fighting it. Like, he just wants to keep saying dumb shit. Like, he can't handle, like, being, like, negativity at all. And you're right. Like, both sides suck. Like, I would, if I had my way, I'd vote everybody out. Like, if it was up to me and I could somehow get the support from the people, I would make it so we vote every single one of these bastards out of their jobs.
I think there's going to be a lot of them that are going to be out of a job after this.
And I don't have a problem with that because I think for years and years and years, not just this presidency, Obama's, I think for multiple presidencies, the system has failed us. It's gone too far, and we're due for like it's time to maybe make some real ass changes. And I've always thought that through this whole coronavirus thing, that hopefully people would make like that it's going to piss people off enough to show up and vote. And it's time for a fresh start, man. Like, let's get some people in there that want to work. I think let's get some people in there that will vote for term limits for these Congress people. And
I don't think that would ever be up to us. That's up to Senate and
it should be Congress. Up to us.
It should be, but it ain't gonna be because Ted Cruz has been trying to get a bill the last 2 years passed about term limits.
Like that 100%. That 100% should be on the regular ballot. That should be a citizen thing. Like that'd be like me going. No, like that would be like me being able to say, no matter what I do at my job, I get to decide whether or not I keep working for as long as I want.
Yeah.
Like it's dumb.
Well,
all right. let's shut this thing off with something fun. What do you have? What are you looking forward to this weekend? What are you excited to watch?
Got West Virginia tomorrow since Buckeyes can't play because the Big Ten's nothing but pussies. But I'm afraid they're going to lose to Eastern Kentucky because I don't know how good they're going to be this year. But big thing is Ben being back Monday night.
Yeah. And who are they playing again? I know you told me earlier.
The Giants.
Oh, that should be a win. That should be a good warm up game for them.
I hope so, but we'll see.
I don't have a lot of
everyone's in the same boat. I mean, you didn't have any live because they weren't allowed to hit Roethlisberger. Same with Giants quarterback. No one's letting their quarterback get hit, so it's all going to be like the first big live hit for them. All that
sure,
crap.
But I take Big Ben over Daniel Jones all day long.
So I'm just afraid of injuries.
You got you got to worry about that. I think we're going to see some injuries these first couple of weeks.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't want to give a shout out to BYU who was an independent school. Like they've been an independent now for a handful of years, and they went out and when all their competition shut down for the year, they went out and made a schedule. And by the way, beat the shit out of Army or Navy this past weekend.
I think they play Army this coming weekend or something.
Yeah. They made like an 8-game schedule. They went out and figured it out. Not great, like huge teams, but they scrapped something together.
Teams, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, but they scrapped something together. And for the conferences that are playing, I am excited to watch. I'm not a huge college football fan. I am excited to see what the Browns show me, obviously. And I'm excited to see I'm forever interested in the new stadiums and what Tampa does because I think that Tampa Bay team is. And here's the thing: they might at some point bring on AB.
Yeah, he's going to get picked up by somebody. I mean, for God's sake, Josh Gordon got signed.
He's already got. Yeah, he went back to Seahawks, didn't he?
Yeah, but no one knows if he's ever going to be able to play again.
Did he get reinstated?
Nope. And the NFL won't even talk to him. At least that's what was over this past weekend. Seahawks have no idea because the NFL has no idea what they're going to do.
They need to let him back in because here's the deal. The one thing that he was getting in trouble for, they just made it okay to do.
Yeah, but they were saying that not only did he pop for marijuana, it was some kind of PED.
Well, that's a different thing. But was that his first PED?
I don't know, but PEDs fall in line with the drug stuff. So even though they've taken it off now, he still has like 5 drug offenses. So that'd make him up to 6. That's where the problem is.
Well, I think the ones for the week shouldn't count anymore.
Well, there was a rule when that was going on. So, I mean, you broke the rules at the time.
But let's look at how we are today. Like, he's not helping me. And
so
he's
now
not
when
Brown.
he tests positive for weed, it ain't going to matter today. But when he tested positive for weed last year, it mattered.
Yeah, and now they just get a fine, right? I think it's like a $2,500 fine.
I don't remember.
But they don't test that much, so they don't test in the regular season at all, I don't think. Unless you're in the drug program. But even if you are in the drug,
he'll be in the drug program until he retires.
Well, I guarantee it's worth him to pay the $2,500 to be able to like get stoned once in a while.
Once in a while, coming from the guy who came out and said he got stoned before every game. Just once in a while. Well, what's your once in a while? Once a week.
Think about that, though. Think about that. He was stoned every game, and think about how good he was.
Yeah, I know. It's scary.
Like, imagine him playing like they're probably lucky he was playing stoned. Could you imagine him playing completely sober?
Yeah.
Because no one will ever sell me that marijuana makes you a better football player.
Oh, yeah, I know. I would never. Yeah.
The last thing I want to do is like go run and catch a ball when I've taken an edible. No, that is not like my number one game plan.
No, but at least it explains how come every time he got done like making a catch or doing something amazing and they showed him on the sideline, he was eating a hot dog or something.
Oh, yeah. He's got those munchies. He's got to keep that. That
Fritos?
part I get.
Is he eating Fritos over there?
Yeah. See, that part I get. I'm excited. Hey, are you guys accepting visitors?
Yeah, as far as I know. I don't think that's changed.
I'm tempted to drive up to Akron this weekend. I should be packing, But as you can see, like I've got like this room had most of the shit I would be packing anyways. So I'm tempted to make a drive up and see my mom. And I was thinking about swinging up to your house on Sunday.
I could ask Miranda. I don't know if she's got anything planned Sunday because I know I don't got anything planned Sunday. She might have something planned for
Okay,
her.
make sure she knows that I'm not saying I'm coming up, that I'm pondering coming up because I don't want there to be any fucking confusion. And then she's like, Matt didn't come. I'm not talking to him for 18 months.
I know my buddy, he was asking me, he gave up his season tickets for the Browns, and I thought I had him talked out of it. Because after I went to the Bengals game with him last year, he was like, I don't know, I might give him up, blah, blah, blah. Because towards the end of the year, when he couldn't go and he sold them, they sucked. So he wasn't making hand over fist. But earlier in the year, when he couldn't go, he was making like $200-$300 on his tickets. And I was like, he had the perfect seats. I mean, they were up top, but they weren't too far up top. And he was like the 20 or 30 yard line, somewhere in there. And you're on the visitor side, but whatever, you're on the 20, so it was perfect view. And when he told me that on the way, we left, I was like, dude, you don't want to give up these tickets. I was like, if you can move up and you want to do that, I was like, that's fine. But I was like, if the Browns get good, I was like, you have your tickets, you go from there. I was like, if you give them up, I was like, you might have trouble getting your tickets back or getting tickets. So I thought I had him talked out of it. Then all this shit happened. So they gave him the choice of, you could forgo this season, but keep them, and like this year's money will go towards next year, all that crap. And so he decided to let it go. And I'm like, dude, why'd you let it go? Because he texted me and said how he was thinking about going to Thursday night's game next week. And he's like, would you be interested? I was like, do you have your tickets? And he's like, that's when he told me. And I was like, yeah, if you don't have your tickets, I was like, I ain't gonna be able to afford that goddamn ticket. I was like, with only 6,000 tickets, and I was like, if they're resale, I was like, it's gonna be expensive. Crazy. Yeah, so he's like, well, maybe go to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I'm like, maybe, but I was like, sure as hell I ain't gonna be able to. I can't afford to go. I mean, he could, but I can't. So, so we were talking, and he sat there. I guess one of his buddies got season tickets, and he's planning on upgrading his seats or whatever. So he's gonna buy his buddy's old seats or whatever. And I was like, all right. I was like, that, as long as you get tickets. Because I had a blast. I always like going up there for the Steeler games. Miranda didn't.
Yeah, that's what you said. She won't go
back. And I told him I'd go to any game with him as long as it wasn't a Steelers game. And he's like, why not? I was like, because I was like, one, I'll wear Steelers stuff. People will throw stuff at me. I was like, once you get drunk, you'll start throwing shit at me. I was like, I can't have that. So
I'm sad that like I'm finally back in Ohio and fucking pandemic. I'm hoping like they change their mind at some point this year and open it up, because those tickets are going to be impossible to come by.
Yeah, he told me he looked up like Dallas because they have like a whatever their number is.
They're like 25%.
And so he was telling me like tickets for resale for Cowboy games were like over $1,000 a piece. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, no, can't do it. I was like, now if you want to wait till later in the year when the chance of corona is higher because it's cold, I was like, maybe, and they suck. I was like, then tickets will be cheaper. I was like, then maybe I'll do it. But I was like, until then, I was like, I can't afford to do it.
Oh, we didn't talk about what do you think about The Rock? Well, let's finish it out on this because I really do got to poop.
I think it's smart. I mean, for as much as he paid for it, I mean,
$15 million.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. And then you also got a freaking billionaire that's with you in this whole thing.
No, you can't like go wrong. Multi-billionaire, a whole trust thing.
Oh, whatever. $1 billion's good enough, but but yeah, you can't go wrong because I mean, anything The Rock does ever since Doom has been awesome. So,
and the XFL was already popular.
Yeah. So, and they're already talking about moving teams and a couple other things. So, and they're already talking about putting it in a bubble for next year. Where, I mean, that you could put in a bubble. Because
I kind of like that idea because you figure you only got 2 games a day. You could play same thing. You could do the same thing you did always. Play 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. Play in a bubble. Keep it safe.
Yeah.
But still give like obviously still like you still have the cities, so you could give them their hype if you're going to do that. But like, I definitely think you need to move New York. Probably Tampa needs to move.
Yeah, because I mean, Tampa, most logic move them to Orlando because that's where they wanted. Because Orlando didn't seem to be too bad for the Alliance.
No, they did pretty good there.
Um,
LA needs to move because they couldn't
do anything.
But like
But, I
teams
mean-
like Houston, great. St. Louis, great. I would try to move a team to San Diego because I think the midshipmen did great.
San Diego and San Antonio. Those are the
Yep.
two places.
Absolutely, 100%. I would move the team from New York and the team to Tampa, to Orlando. You move like LA to San Diego, right? And you know they're gonna show because they showed in the AAF.
Yeah.
Then you move New York down to San Antonio. And dude, I'm telling you, like San Antonio was showing up, same thing, almost like St. Louis, 25, 30,000 people. I'm in. I can't wait to see what they do. I think The Rock's going to do a great job. I think it's a smart move. They got it dirt cheap. And like you said, everything he does touches the gold, turns to gold.
He's doing with his ex-wife. Like, what kind of relationship is that?
Hey, here's the thing. It's one of those things. Like I always tell Kim, if we ever got divorced, she'd still be my best friend. Like it wouldn't we'd go through some shit, right? But at the end of the day, like Kim's always going to be in my life. But I think that's possible. I think if you're mature enough and you don't let it get super ugly, right? You just recognize like we're on two different paths. We want two different things. You could still like be good humans, and like she's still his business manager.
Yeah.
But she's going to basically be the head of the XFL because The Rock's busy doing a million other things. You got the hedge fund people as the money backing it up. That looks like they're trying to keep all their TV deals in place. They're looking at moving some. I think they're going to do things the right. Like, not that it was done the wrong way. That's the thing. It wasn't done the wrong way. Like,
it wasn't, but I think it was because Vince was there. So I think he probably made it a lot harder to work with than The Rock and his wife or ex-wife are going to be.
I think. Oh yeah, I think Vince being out gives it more legitimacy throughout the rest of the sports world.
Yeah, because you're not worried about it ending next year or some weird storyline where someone comes out of the ground and gives them a stone cold stunner before they go across the goal line.
Yeah, but all things being said, like the league overall, if you compare it to even the AAF or like the first time the XFL was around, it was actually really well run.
Yes.
It sucks that they screwed it over with the commissioner because I thought Luck was one of the best commissioners in all of sports, the way he set this league up and the way he got the fans buy-in. But I think they did a lot of things right. I think if you don't have the pandemic, I think the season ends hugely. I think they make some money. They were on course to make a profit. Not much, but a little bit of money, right? So overall, the league was going well. The pandemic just fucked everybody and everything. And when you're a startup, it is what it is. But I think playing inside the bubble could be really big for them next year, just so they could get a season in and get some stuff under their belt and start building that fan support. Maybe you do name like San Antonio and San Diego as the cities, even if you can't play there. But then you can get those people supporting that franchise.
Yeah.
I don't know. It should be interesting. All right, man. I'm going to get off here and go to the bathroom. I'm glad we're back to chatting.
Yes.
We'll have to figure something out for next week because I think I might have to work because I reworked my schedule so I could watch the Browns game on Sunday. Because I didn't want to like watch the game and then have to go into work Sunday night. And I'm training anyway, so it's easier to be flexible. But we'll figure something out for next week. Yeah. So anything else from you, buddy?
No, I'm good.
All right. Hey, let me know what Miranda says. So remember, I might be coming up to Akron. I'm not definitely coming up.
All right. I'll tell her that you're going to be here at 12:30 on Sunday.
Next thing you know, she won't even let Whitney send me little voice messages and I'll cry. So, all right, man. Take it easy, buddy.
All right. You too.